Yoav Gelber is a professor of history at the University of Haifa, and was formerly a visiting professor at the University of Texas at Austin. He was born in Mandatory Palestine in 1943 and studied world and Jewish history at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem and is an expert on the history of the Israel Defense Forces. Yoav Gelber is also known to have been a vocal opponent of Ilan Pappé when the latter was employed by the University of Haifa. In 1973, Gelber served as the academic and military assistant to the Agranat Commission, and in 1982 participated in the official inquiry into the 1933 death of Haim Arlosoroff. Works: Jewish-Palestinian volunteering in the British Army during the Second World War, Volume I. Volunteering and its role in Zionist policy 1939–1942. Jewish-Palestinian volunteering in the British Army during the Second World War, Volume II. The Struggle for a Jewish Army. ISBN 965-217-002-X. Jewish-Palestinian volunteering in the British Army during the Second World War, Volume III. The Standard Bearers, the mission of the volunteers to the Jewish people. Jewish-Palestinian volunteering in the British Army during the Second World War, Volume IV. Jewish volunteers in British units. The emergence of a Jewish army. The veterans of the British Army in the IDF. Why the Palmach was disbanded. The Jewish military force in the transition from a yeshiva to a state 1947–1949. With Walter Goldstein. Emigration Deutsch-Sprachige nach Palästina 1933–1945. Masada, the defense of Palestine in the Second World War, a new homeland, the immigration from Central Europe and its absorption in Eretz Israel 1933–1948. The History of Israeli Intelligence Part 1. Growing of Fleur-de-Lis, the intelligence services of the Jewish Yeshiva in Palestine, 1918–1947, 2 vols. Tel Aviv 1992. Jewish Transjordanian Relations, 1921–1948. The History of Israeli Intelligence Part 2. Budding of Fleur-de-Lis, Israeli Intelligence in the War of Independence, 1947–1949. The History of Israeli Intelligence Part 3, 1949–1953, Volume I3. Palestine 1948, War, Escape and the Emergence of the Palestinian Refugee Problem. Sussex Academic Press. Brighton and Amp. Portland 2001. Independence vs. Nakba, the Arab-Israeli War of 1948. Israeli-Jordanian Dialogue, 1948–1953, Cooperation, Conspiracy, or Collusion, Nation and History, Israeli Historiography Between Zionism and Post-Zionism, Valentine Mitchell, February 2011. The Jihad That Wasn't, a Review of 1948, A History of the First Arab-Israeli War, by Benny Morris, Azura Online, Autumn 2008. End Degree 34.